As time progresses onward, comics are constantly evolving and changing. With that change often comes new writers with fresh perspectives, and often it's this change with the acknowledgement of comic history that gives us some of the best stories. Finding the correct creative teams for comics can take time, and some of it likely relies on the roll of the dice. Everything has to line up just right for your story and characters to really resound and take off. Marvel, however, has been around since 1939, so by the decade of 2010, they had enough successes and failures behind them to know what worked and what didn't. And it was this knowledge and their talented creative team of writers, artists, editors, and more that likely allowed them to succeed with these comics. Welcome back, Nerd Squad. Today we're going to be taking a look at some of the comics from the previous decade, specifically some of the best ones with the most critical acclaim, and also a few of my own personal favorites. Join me as we count down the top 10 best Marvel comics of the 2010s. If you love Marvel as much as I do, you can find more content like this by clicking over here and checking out our Marvel playlist. Right click it and open it up in a new tab for later. Alright, now let's get counting. Number 10. Deadpool. There have been a few amazing writers when it comes to those that really understand the crazier than a sack of ferrets merc with a mouth known as Deadpool. But one of the best writers we've had recently is Gary Dugan, and one of the best series we've gotten in terms of art has been his 2012 series. This is the series where we got the good, the bad, and the ugly story featuring Deadpool's team up with Wolverine and Captain America. The series does a good job of making you laugh and embodying that outlandish Deadpool humor, while also sometimes being grounded in reality to a point that you just want to cry for what poor Wade Wilson is going through. It has this really great and raw, dark humor that just creeps in every now and then to really remind you who Deadpool is, which is kind of a sad guy. Poor Deadpool. Number 9. Captain Marvel. This Captain Marvel is definitely a series I'd recommend more for fans of the character. If you want a series to get you a little bit more invested, then the 2012 is more accessible for those that are new, but still want something fresh. However, for die-hard Carol Danvers fans, this series was perfect. It really puts Carol in her element usually being outer space. Carol Danvers currently seems to have a pretty good life going following the events of her last series at the beginning of this one, fighting crime alongside the Avengers and her partner War Machine aka Rhodey, and surrounded by those she loves. However, she realizes that she needs more. She needs to be out among the stars, and so this series is mostly about fun space adventures, but she also gets a few really awesome letters from home that allows us to visit her Earthling friends that we've come to love. Also, can we just talk about how much Kelly Sue DeConnick just completely hits the mark when it comes to writing Captain Marvel, because that is very much a thing. Ugh, I just love DeConnick's writing, she's awesome. Number 8. THANOS. Jeff Lemire and Donny Cates both brought their own stories to this series surrounding Marvel's big bad himself, Thanos. Both stories are excellent and unique and are just fairly neatly knit together. Lemire's Thanos starts off with a tale where we learn that Thanos is dying. With death finally on his doorstep, will Thanos surrender to his love or fight to live another day? The next arc follows a resilient Thanos, spoiler alert, he survives, conquering planets throughout the galaxy, but being called to face one of the greatest threats that the multiverse has ever faced. Himself. Taken to the future by the hilarious and oddly charming new character of Cosmic Ghost Rider, Thanos then meets his future self, who has successfully obliterated almost all of life in the galaxy. Almost. In the story titled Thanos Wins by Donny Cates. Have I also mentioned just how gorgeous and vibrant the art and the colors are in this series? Because, yeah, they are. You should just read it for the colors. Just look at the colors are so good. Number 7. Black Panther. Ta-Nehisi Coates is a writer who has a background in hard-hitting journalism as well as being known as an accomplished author. And that was before he even made his way over to Marvel Comics. Needless to say, there was a lot of hype when it was announced that he would be taking over the Black Panther title. Fortunately, he did not disappoint. 2016's Black Panther series helped to completely revitalize this character. Coates' take was refreshing and and relevant. He not only helped to create new, powerful, and interesting supporting characters, but also did an amazing job highlighting some of the conflicts that weren't always as often touched on, like that of politics and how the people of Wakanda feel about having a government that is a monarchy. If you love Black Panther, the 2016 run is a must read, and if you've never read any Black Panther, then this run is likely one that will pull you in and just make you want to know and read more. Number 6. Venom. Donny Cates' work on the latest Venom series takes Eddie Brock's character to new heights. Cates' work on Venom has in fact been so good, many fans simply don't want it to end. We're just not ready. We're like, please, don't let this story ever end. It's so good. Of course, we know everything does have to come to an end eventually, but this has just really been some standout work when it comes to continuing to develop and evolve the character of Eddie Brock, while also staying true to his history. Of course, this book has also carried us through and to last summer's exciting, nail-biting, and horrific event that was Number 5. Absolute Carnage. I mean, come on, you didn't think I was gonna do this list and not talk about it, right? Absolute Carnage was such a great series because it did a great job of bringing everyone together from the Spideyverse and beyond in a way that felt both epic and meaningful. It allowed us to take a look at what I like to call symbiote fever, which is a phenomenon that has been growing ever stronger since symbiotes and Venom first hit the scene. In the series, Venom, Spider-Man, and a slew of other supers must come together to defeat Absolute Carnage, a leveled up version of Cletus Cassidy who now finds himself resurrected and bonded to the Grendel symbiote, which has taken on a Carnage-like form and personality. Carnage is aiming to collect all of the codexes from the spines of those alive or dead who once wore/bonded with a symbiote. If he succeeds, Null will awaken and return to basically devour Earth. Yikes. How is Venom going to get out of this one? Well, you gotta read to find out. It's not really so much of a get out of, but I don't want to spoil anything. Number 4. Black Panther and the Crew. Black Panther and the Crew is a limited series written by Ta-Nehisi Coates and Yona Harvey, featuring art by Butch Gucci. Or Gooch. I don't know how to say that. Featuring art by Butch Gooch. Guice? How would you say that? Guice? Or Gucci? I want to say Gucci just because it sounds fun. I just like the way Butch Gucci sounds. I'm sorry if that's not right, Butch. Please, don't come at me. I'm sorry. This series follows Black Panther and other superhero colleagues who come together to solve a mystery in Harlem that seems to involve police brutality, which could echo outward into something bigger. The team of supers form a group known as the Crew in order to solve the mystery and to stop the villains behind it. The result is that you get an empowering, thrilling, and stunning story both to read and to look at. Ta-Nehisi Coates is also known for his amazing Black Panther series that we talked about earlier from 2016. If you just want something to wet your whistle when it comes to his work on Black Panther, then this is something I would recommend. It's only 6 issues and it's all really good. All the characters, including T'Challa, are also well and accurately written, which is not an easy feat to accomplish in a team book, especially Misty Knight. Goodness, Misty Knight is so well written in that book. I love it. Number 3. Hawkeye. Matt Fraction's Hawkeye is one of the most highly praised Hawkeye series around, and just series in general. If you've ever heard another comic nerd going on and on about Pizza Dog, this was also where that adorable doggo character originated, later named Lucky. Pizza Dog would later become Hawkeye's beloved animal companion for both Hawkeyes actually, both Clint Barton and the younger Kate Bishop. The story follows Hawkeye's adventures when he's not working alongside the Avengers team, and where his hero stories feel more grounded in reality, because at the end of the day, Clint's kinda just a dude. A super skilled dude when it comes to his accuracy with a bow and arrow, but still, just a dude. And honestly, it's that revelation which Fraction so beautifully explores, as well as David Aja's stunning artwork throughout most of the issues, that really makes the series so enjoyable. Number 2. Moon Knight. With talk of us getting Moon Knight in the MCU, you might be wondering just who is this mysterious character who looks like a less sensibly dressed Batman. If you are thinking that, then I'm assuming you have yet to read this amazing series, which had more than one talented writer tell Moon Knight's story throughout, including writing from Cullen Bunn, Brian Wood, and Warren Ellis. It also features artwork from the talented Declan Shalvey and Greg Smallwood, with bold colors from one of my favorites, Jordi Belair, and striking letters by Travis Lanham, to name a few, because there's more talented people that worked on it. Just all in all, it's a great creative team that even while rotating out still manages to keep a consistent feel throughout the book. Moon Knight is Mark Spector, a former mercenary with a split personality disorder who is given powers by Khonshu, the Egyptian moon god. Moon Knight as such serves Khonshu. At least, we think he does. And he thinks he does. This series is critically acclaimed due to how well it deals with the question of Spector's mental state, and paces out the storytelling in a way to also kind of make you as the reader question reality yourself. Who doesn't want to question reality, am I right? Number 1. House of X / Powers of X. Here we are again, almost in present day, 2019. House of X and Powers of X were technically two separate series that came out last year, both limited, running 6 issues each. However, the series was married together for the purposes of trade, so if you were looking at getting a paperback or perhaps even a hardcover version of one of these series, which I do recommend getting the hardcover, you'll notice they only come together. But trust me when I say you'll likely want both of them, especially if you're diving into any of the other series that are part of the Dawn of X line. Jonathan Hickman is currently the main mastermind behind Dawn of X, and House and Powers of X serve to introduce readers to this new mutant world that Hickman is building, with the triumvirate powers of Moira McTaggart, Professor X, and Magneto founding it. If you haven't read it, you need to. It's not only pretty, but powerful, and it will get you excited about this new line by breathing much needed life into the X-Men and mutant world. Thank you so much for watching, Nerd Squad. Which series have been some of your favorites from the past decade? Would you like to see more decade recap comic lists from us? 90s, someone say 90s. Are there any comics from this year that you have found that have just blown everything previous out of the water? Who have been some of your favorite characters to read about over the last decade? Let us know in the comments below, and be sure to smash that subscribe on your way down there. We know you want to. This has been Top 10 Nerd, and I'm your host Amanda McKnight. Till next time, you stay nerdy, YouTube.